We have AEW Dynamite live tomorrow night at the Gateway Center in Atlanta, and it will be an 8 o'clock showtime. It will be streaming on Max. Tickets are available at AEWTix.com. And a man who's a big part of AEW, former AEW World Champion, friend of the show, one of our brothers here, Swerve Strickland, joins us here in the locker room on the Fan, 680. 93.7 FM. Swerve, happy Tuesday. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me back.
Here in the locker room, you guys put on a good show. How you feeling physically as it is a grueling grind to be a professional wrestler in the world today?
Body feels great. Do some stretches and all that stuff. Make sure it's in top shape for tomorrow night because pretty much looking forward to main eventing tomorrow night on Dynamite with Ricochet. So this is going to be awesome. This back and forth we've been having on Dynamite and Collision the last couple, weeks to a month has been excellent, amazing stuff. Actually goes all the way back to December, so it's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome, and it's going to be the highlight of probably the first part of the year of AEW.
What's it like wrestling a guy like Ricochet who can just fly with the best of them, jump all over the ring, do a little bit of everything? What's that like for you trying to get prepared for a guy like him?
Me and Ricochet go back to like 2010. That was the first time I actually met him, 2010 to 2011. And then we didn't get in the ring together till about like 2014, I believe. And at that time, he was like revolutionizing the style of like in-ring high flying over in Japan and bringing it to the States and then going back to Japan and then Mexico. So he was like a real big patriarch of that style. And so I like gravitated to him a lot in a lot of ways. But we weren't always kind to each other, even way back then, because he it started off in like, oh, cool, I want to be in your shoes a lot of way, and he was very protective of that, and along the ways I started like gravitating to his style, but morphing it into my own, creating Swerve was starting to become, make my own lane, and it started like. Starting to carve his own path, but he saw it as like copying in a way. So there's a lot of like clashing of egos. So now, after all these years, 10 years later, I found out who I was, and I became who I was. And Ricochet for all those years still never found out who he really was, and I always had that edge over him. And now you're seeing like kind of those things like become. Like you're seeing on screen, a lot of like grievances are being aired out.
You guys are going to take care of business.
Yeah.
So
it's like animosity built up over that time.
So like now the acrobatics and the high flying is like that's just on top of that. But it really starts off with the animosity, the personalities, and the egos that are just clashing. Then going on like facing them in the ring. I don't even think high flying is going to be like the precedent. I think it's really going to be just like hitting and fighting. Right. There's going to be bad blood and a lot of like potatoes coming behind a lot of these strikes.
AEW Dynamite live tomorrow night at the Gateway Center Arena. Tickets for tomorrow night's AEW can be purchased at Ticketmaster or at Tix.com. You're an Army veteran, and you were named ESPN's Breakout Wrestler of the Year for 2024. So you are in a good power band. You put in a lot of time, a lot of work, and had to remain healthy. That's the one thing. You guys get injured, you get sidelined for 2, 3, 5 months. It can derail an opportunity like you have right now.
Yeah, Brian, I'm pretty sure like a skill in every sport, like whether it's baseball, football, NBA, is staying healthy. That's actually a real
Can't make the club in the tub.
Exactly. You know what I mean? So that's actually a skill that that a lot of people don't like think of. Maintaining the body and being able to like perform top shape and preventing injury too. That's like another part of a skill that I had to learn and get on the other side of that. Like that's why LeBron is so great at what he does, because that's a skill to be able to remain healthy and to invest and sacrifice all these other things.
How do you rest? Because you guys are on the road as a wrestler. I mean, every time you're going out there, if it's a 10-minute match, if it's a 20-minute match, if it's a 10 plus minute match.
You can get hurt on a 4-minute match.
Right. How do you rest? How do you figure out how to get your rest in when you have to go work out, also be ready to go for the next show, but you also have to get some rest in as well?
You find the rest within the work, and that's the hard thing to do. you know, and that takes years to figure out because everybody's body's different too. You got to find out what works for your body. Like even when I'm working out or exercising or like doing body maintenance, I'm still finding ways to like recoup it in the same sense. Not everything's always hard weight slamming. It's also about like, you know what, let me pull back on that and actually just get stretches in, get breathing in, get my mental. That's a exercise in itself.
Meditation?
Yeah.
Yoga a little bit?
For me, it's music. Music is my meditation. So I'm like listening to a bunch of different sounds and stuff. And I come up with a lot of visuals from sound. I come up with a lot of just like focusing moments that were like, it takes me to another place. And now I'm like, okay, now I'm getting better and like prep for the ring through my mind rather than actually going into a ring to physically do it.
AEW Dynamite in town tomorrow night at the Gateway Center Arena. You can get tickets at AEWTix.com or at Ticketmaster. We're joined by former AEW World Champion Swerve Strickland here in studio, here in the locker room.
It's interesting you talk about music because you brought some musical stars to AEW, Rick Ross, Jim Jones, some other ones. Talk about the influence music has in wrestling because we deal with that in sports a lot where music and sports interact. And we see a lot of musicians, a lot of hip-hop stars that are like, dude, I want to be ringside at AEW.
Yeah, everybody's a closet wrestling fan at some point. At some point in their lives, everybody has seen wrestling.
Almost everybody's
everybody.
Don't be like
one
that.
more guy.
Don't be like that. I was a huge fan growing up. Big fan. And I enjoy watching you guys do what you do. The athleticism, I think it almost gets forgotten about because there's so many storylines and everything else. But when you sit there and watch the athletes fly around, I mean, did you have to learn how to fall a certain way? Right? Where do you learn that, and how does that come into the training part of it?
I mean, that comes with like that's like day one.
Yeah.
Day one training. You gotta learn how to, not just fall, but to learn how to protect yourself. Period. On everything, falling, hitting the ropes, you could break a rib. I've seen it happen.
Really?
Yeah.
So those aren't ropes; those are like cables, aren't they?
They can vary.
Okay.
Like ours, we use cable, but there's like certain rings that actually have rope. So, but either way, you both can hurt you. You know, it's power and it's like force on a lot of things. I've seen people like day one just leave with bruises all over their bodies, just like learning, how to like inflict and take the pain.
What are you doing Super Bowl Sunday? You're a big Rams fan. I know you wanted to see the Rams go to the Super Bowl with Matthew Stafford. What are you doing Super Bowl Sunday? What's a Super Bowl Sunday like for you? You're a busy man. You have work to do, but everybody else
be there
on the Super Bowl. Oh, you're going?
Oh, yeah, I'll be there.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, I just bought my ticket like two days ago.
Will this be your first one you've attended?
Mm-hmm. First ever. And I was like, you know what? Like, I'm gonna make it happen. I missed the pop out. I'm not missing Kendrick's halftime show.
There you go. Like, I'm not mad at you.
I'm not missing that at all.
You know, the crazy part is people, when he was announced, can Kendrick do enough music? I said, are you kidding me? And then with what he released this year, GNX is one of the all-timers. Yeah. I've had that on
that whole halftime show can just be that album.
Yes.
But like there's so much like deep bags of like also features that he's done over the last like 10 years is enough to like fill like, man.
He's got to close with it, Not Like Us, right? Oh, that's got to be the closest song.
It's the record of the year now.
I know.
Award-winning. It's an undeniable classic at this point.
So if obviously you want to see somebody like Kendrick, who would you want to bring to AEW with you? Like who would be somebody, if you had a dream artist that would come with you, who would it be?
I think Doechii would have a lot of fun with us.
Okay.
I'm old now, so I got to look up.
Yeah,
she just won a Grammy.
She just won the Grammy.
Yeah, rap album of the year.
I've heard that one hit, but I don't.
Third female rap artist to
ever win rap album.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, her, Lauryn Hill, and Cardi.
We're trying to get Lotto in studio. It hadn't worked.
Lotto's dope. Yeah, like I've got a lot of like artists.
Yes,
like,
she is.
But I have yet to bring a female artist in, and I think Doechii's like at the top of my list of like someone I would like to bring in. She's like has great fun energy,
right?
And like she's from Tampa, Florida, so like like that energy. This is like raw and like swamp, So I'm like yeah, I think she got have a lot of fun with us.
All right, one last plug, folks. This is a wrestling town. AEW Dynamite in town for a big showdown at Gateway Center Arena. Give everybody the plug of what they're going to see when they pay a ticket, come through the turnstiles, and get a chance to see Swerve Strickland get inside of the squared circle.
Well, you're witnessing a history maker in all elite wrestling and pro wrestling all around. first African-American AEW World Champion, 2024 ESPN Breakout Wrestler of the Year, number 2 in the PWI top 500 in the world, you know. So you're witnessing history every time I step in the ring. You talked about music and wrestling. I think music is like one of the key points to like fans gravitating to a wrestler, and I think I have one of the best music like out in wrestling in this generation. It's very synonymous with me. It's very identifiable. Like the first 10, 15, 30 seconds, I would say, is the first time when you see a wrestler, you want to grab onto them. You want to like, I want to get you to latch on to me. And my music does that. And that's what music does for wrestling. That's why I think it's so important. It's so important when you hear like certain sounds, boom, you know who's coming out. When you hear like whose house, you know Swerve's house, you know it's going to be Swerve. And then you're just like, I come out, man, I'm with that guy. So that's just all before I even get in the ring. Now, when I get to the ring and stuff, you're going to see like a very innovative style. You're going to see a personality. You're going to feel who I am in that ring. You're going to see and understand what I do and why I do it. And then you sit back and enjoy the ride, because I never disappoint when it comes to me in that wrestling ring. And then going against Ricochet, someone I've known for over 10 years, like one of the most innovative people in wrestling in the last 10 to 15 years. And Ricochet, you know, he's here with us in AEW. He has a lot he wants to prove. And now this man is like very violent now at this point. And I tend to bring out the worst in a lot of people and I unlock like some hidden traits about them and personalities. And Ricochet has found who he is now, whether it be for the better or for the worse. You're seeing a different type of Ricochet that you've never seen in the last 20 years. And so now you're seeing these two personalities, these two athletes, these two history makers, two black men main eventing in AEW, another rising star in our company. And we're looking to make 2025 another historic year for all elite wrestling.
AEW Dynamite live tomorrow night at the Gateway Center Arena here in town. Airs on TBS at 8 o'clock. It will stream on Max. Tickets are available at AEWTix.com or at Ticketmaster.com. Swerve Strickland, we thank you for your time. Should be fun inside of the Gateway Center Arena. And everybody who doesn't get in the building will certainly be watching, and we'll certainly look forward to having you in studio once again.
Yes, sir. Check us out on HBO Max as well. We stream live, and we're on TBS, 8 o'clock Eastern Time.
There he is, Swerve Strickland, joining us here in the locker room.